Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Thanks for joining the Backlook Cinema Podcast with Zach and Zoe.
On this show, we take a look back at the movies of yesteryear.
That means we're going to talk about some of the best movies from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
So thank you for joining us. Now let's get it started in here. Hi, this is Zach.
And this is Zoe, and welcome to the Backlook Cinema Podcast. We're Zach and Zoe, and the reason we started this show was to strengthen the bond between my son, Zach, and me, Zoe. We watched movies that I loved when I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and we get Zach's impressions on these great movies.
If you like our show, then rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser.com, or your favorite podcast app.
And please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can find the details in the show notes. Now, this is going to be probably a shorter show because we watch might as well call it an indie film. It felt indie to me. It's an indie style film. So it's not going to be a whole lot of trivia and a lot of the actors that we're going to talk about in the beginning where we talk about, you know, who played who or whatever. A lot of those actors had very small appearances, but we're going to talk about them regardless. So what you been up to?
Nothing much, just playing Apex and Smite. That's just about it.
Okay, so are they feeling better to you?
No, just I'm still dealing with people who don't know what they're doing or just being very toxic, and you know.
So the toxic people and noobs.
Yeah, basically.
So, but you got out that Outrider. You're not in the Outrider game no more.
Like you said, once I beat it, I'm not going back.
Oh, okay.
Especially if it's an MMORPG like that. No, thank you. Just same thing with Avengers. The moment I beat it, no point in going back. I beat the story. No, thank you. I didn't like what you guys was doing.
Yeah, well, they got new stories.
Unless it was like Destiny 2, that kept me going for a little bit until DLC came out, killed one of the characters, and I went, you know what? No more Destiny 2 for me. Thank you so much.
What you call it? Because Avengers about to come out with. I haven't played it in a while, but they're about to come out with
with Black Panther.
Black
I know,
Panther,
and I'm
Black
like, you know, congratulations, good for you. But where's my Spider-Man, huh?
I know, right? They're taking a long time with Spider-Man. And
I'm sorry, you promised me Spider-Man though. You with your hey, where's Sony? We got Spider-Man. Sony,
right?
Where's my Spider-Man?
Not only that, but I think it's just the character. It's not going to be like all the other characters that have been introduced. They had a whole story connected to it, but I don't think Spider-Man gonna have a story. I think it's just gonna be a character.
That's all I ever wanted was Spider-Man to be the game,
right?
So I can gloatly be like ha ha ha, get PlayStation guys. I got Spider-Man because you ain't getting Spider-Man. You're not gonna get the first Spider-Man on PS4. You're not gonna get the Miles Morales. You better get a PS4 or PS5 because haha, you suck as an Xbox player because you don't got Spider-Man.
Right. Well, yeah. And the other thing is that they should have. Dropped Spider-Man like in the beginning, and
they should have dropped day one. Drop, bam, Spider-Man. Forget Iron Man. Forget Captain America. Forget the Hulk. I got Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
Right. So yeah, I've been playing mainly Outrider. Sometimes I don't even play anything else. Sometimes I don't even play Outer Worlds. I'm almost done with the game, but I'd be pausing hard. I might go 2 or 3 weeks without playing Outer Worlds and just stay hard on Outrider because it's I don't know. It's gotten better. It's like I hadn't really played those drop. What do they call them? Drop shooters, drop and shoot, shoot and loot.
I don't know.
Shooter looters.
Yeah, shoot and loot. I guess I don't know.
I'm not really about that shooter looter life. So and I'm sure that there are better games, but I was like
yeah,
Destiny. And it's starting to get, I don't know, I guess because of the updates, it's starting to get a lot easier because I'm getting a legendary weapon, so sometimes I can just mow through people.
I hate the game so much because I really got anything legendary, and I just looked at, well, you know what, screw this game, screw the rate drops, screw everything.
Right. Yeah, they fixed the rate drops, so you get legendary weapons, or at least you get the what do you call those modifiers? You can modify your weapons with
I guess it's already too late to beat the game. The damage has already been done.
Right.
They should have had this, keened out. Been like, should we even make this that difficult? Nah. I think it'll be fine, Frank. Let's go ahead and ship it like it is.
Right. So what I like one of my favorite power ups, like when you shoot somebody and then you get random lightning strikes. So as you shooting somebody, sometimes the bullets will give you a random lightning strike. So
For
I
me,
really like
it
that.
was basically every time I reload, they turn into ice, and I'm like,
that's neat.
I love that.
Right.
But it doesn't work well on bosses. I'm like, I hate it.
Right. Oh yeah, a lot of those powers don't work well on bosses.
Reload, freeze for 1.1 seconds, unfreeze, and I'm like,
not even a second.
Fair.
It's a fraction of a second. But I do like the other one that's good is like when your health get low and the enemies get close to you, they'll freeze when they get close when they touch you. If your health is low, it's like below 30%. So that helped me go through a lot of that helped me get through a couple of bosses. But yeah, before when I was just doing it over and over and over again, I'd get stuck. Now it only takes me a couple of times, and sometimes it's like you just got to switch out the right powers with the right weapons or the right armor. And once you get that magic combination, you can just mow through them. So that's what my favorite thing about the game. And I also, you're familiar with The Witcher, right? Oh yeah, you played the game. You played The Witcher 3.
Just a little bit.
So you're aware that it's based on a book series.
Yeah.
So I've delved into the book series. Now, what I did not realize was that I wanted to start from the beginning, but I didn't pay attention when I bought the book. So I was reading the book and I was like, man, it seems like he's writing it as though The Witcher is known already. Like I supposed to know who The Witcher is. And I realized I'm on the last book called Season of Storms and not the first book. And I'm like, man, that's why this isn't well, I've been playing the game and I've seen the series, so I understand what's going on. But a lot of the stories that are explained in the TV series have nothing to do with what I'm reading now. So I was like, I'm totally out of time. But then again, the Witcher TV series is told out of time, so it's like it jumps backward and forward. So I guess it's not that hurtful. But anyway, so I'm on Season of Storms by Andrzej Sapkowski, and it's narrated by Peter Kinney. And it's funny, right? Because it's like Peter Kinney is, I don't know, Irish or Western England or something like that. So his accent is way different from what you're used to seeing in The Witcher or The Witcher video games. So that's kind of funny. So that took a little getting used to. And the story is interesting. So, I think I'll keep up with it. So, anything else you've been up to?
No, they're waiting for the Far Cry game to come out, the new the Demon Slayer game to come out. Just waiting for those two.
All right. Any TV shows or anything that you're getting into?
No. Oh yeah, did you watch the episodes I told you to watch?
I watched one. Okay. You talking about from Cowboy Bebop? Yeah. So I only watched one. So I'm gonna watch some more. I only watched the first episode. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I see what they're working with. So I watched it on Hulu. So I didn't have to mess with the PlayStation. So I'll start watching some more, and then I can watch it on the road. But I just hadn't had time, or I didn't take the time to watch when I was on the road. And then also, What If came out. Have you seen that?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I want to try to watch that too. If I hadn't overslept, I would have watched it and the movie, but did not. And did you know that there was a after credit scene in the Suicide Squad?
If I remember, that was one of the Easter eggs, and I was like, I didn't know, but I was like, oh,
right. I was
James Gunn put a Marvel in a DC movie. Oh, right, I should have known.
I should have known, and yeah, it was an after Easter egg, and I was not aware of it. I don't want to say what that Easter egg is now, but only to say that one of the characters didn't die. I'll just say that, and that's what they show after all of the credits. So I'm like, okay. I missed that. I'll catch it later. I think I'm gonna watch it on Monday. I'm gonna watch the whole movie again because that movie is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again too because I was like, you know what? I want to see that. I want to see that first 15 minutes again.
Right.
That first 15 minutes had me hooked.
Right, that first 15 minutes is hard. So, speaking of movies, what movie did we check out?
Menace II Society.
Menace II Society. It goes hard. It goes hard, man. Just goes hard. You hard? It goes hard, man. What's this movie about?
A young street hustler attempts to escape the rigors?
Yep.
Rigors and temptations of the ghetto in a quest for a better life.
Yep. So
and that was by IMDb.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up.
You had trouble with the word rigors. You know what that means?
No.
That means hardships. He's trying to escape from the hardships or the rigors and temptations of the ghetto, right? And that's what a lot of these types of movies are about. So it kind of started with Boys in the Hood. And then after Boys in the Hood, you kind of had a lot of these types of movies because they're extremely profitable, right? So, yeah, Boys in the Hood, that was extremely profitable. You had, there was another one called Baby Boy, and I think that's a sequel or a spiritual sequel to Boys in the Hood. I'm not exactly sure. And that was a movie to star Tyrese. And then there's Menace II Society, and there was a couple of other ones. So a lot of these is about the same size. They even the Juice, the one we saw for Black History Month. So even that, it's basically about them trying to escape that ghetto lifestyle. So, but they all tell it from like a different perspective. So this is told from a perspective from a dude that, like, a lot of times you don't want to say that it's told from his perspective, an innocent dude, but he's not really all about that, gangster lifestyle. It's usually told from that perspective. But in Menace II Society, the main character is all about the gangster lifestyle.
Yep.
It's how he grew up. That's all he know how to live. That is what his mama and dad taught him. And that's the lifestyle that he expects to live. So this movie was released May 31st, 1993 by New Line Cinema. It grossed over $27 million in the U.S. and Canada on a approximately $3 million budget. I think it was like $3.8 million. So it's like almost $4 million. And it got rave reviews. So from $3 million to $27 million, like I said, extremely profitable. Now, obviously, they can't make it for much money in order to gain a profit, but that's how a lot of these movies are made. So, I mean, it's actually kind of same as like rom-coms. Rom-coms are extremely cheap, but they're extremely profitable at the same time. So who's in this movie?
Tyrone?
That's probably right.
Tyrone Turner, who was playing as Caine. He was in Panthers, Chicago Hop, and Meet the Blacks.
Okay, so that's supposed to be Hope. That's
Hope.
Misspelled.
Okay.
Yeah. Chicago Hope is a popular TV series, and Meet the Blacks was a movie that came out a couple years ago. Panther was also one of those hard, conscious movies about empowering Black people. So this movie also stars Lorenz Tate as O-Dog, and he was in Crash, Love Jones, and Ray. And he's one of the few people who's had a stellar career after this movie.
June.
Yeah, I should probably skip the next two, but no, go ahead. We'll just read it. Go ahead.
June Kyoto Lu. That was a grocery store woman. She was in Big Trouble in Little China, Blood Work, and Lady in the Water.
Yeah, so that's the trouble with somebody like getting the list of stars off of IMDb. Sometimes IMDb puts them in a stupid order. So, because she was only in the first part of the film, right? Film. Yeah. And then also Toshi Tada, that's the grocery store man. He was in Just Married, Pearl Harbor, and Letters from Iwo Jima. So basically, these two characters, they were in the very beginning of the movie, and they played the Korean store owners.
I'm pretty sure that was Chinese, not Korean.
It could have been Chinese. It's usually Korean. It could have been Chinese, but it's because usually Chinese people usually start restaurants, and Korean usually starts grocery stores. Well, go on.
Samuel L. Jackson as Tat Lawson. Tat?
Yep, sounds good to me.
He was in just completed the Protege. Protege. Filming Blazing Samurai, The Marvels, and Secret Invasion.
Right. So Samuel L. Jackson has an expansive film library. Resume. He has an expansive film resume, and I could go over and over all the films that he's done. So instead, this time I decided to talk about some of the movies, his upcoming projects. So as Zachary read, he just completed Protege. You've probably seen the trailers for it. It looks really good. Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Oh my God, you got to watch it. So it's him. I get the sense that he's not going to be in the movie for long. But apparently
if the movie's called Protege, of course he's not going to be in the movie for long.
Right. He's the teacher, the mentor, sensei, right,
whichever.
Yeah, he's going to be the mentor, and then he's got this young woman who's his protege, and something happens where she has to get revenge on this other dude played by Michael Keaton, right? So she's gunning for him, basically. She's gunning for Michael Keaton. So it looks like when you see the trailer for this movie and the action sequences look bananas, it looks amazing. I can't wait to see it. So also, he's filming Blazing Samurai. I have no idea what that's about. And The Marvels, obviously. I've seen set pits of The Marvels. I don't know if you've seen it. No, actually, I don't know if I've seen anything. I think the set pit I seen was from the first movie. So he's filming The Marvels right now. So that's going to be Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and the other Captain Marvel, who's probably, I don't know if she's going to be called Captain Marvel in this movie, but she was once called Captain Marvel in the comic books. And
then they changed it because they had some type of whatever. It's like DC when they had the Infinity Crisis, they was like, "Hey, let's change up some origins because
Well, no, they didn't change up the origin. It's just that
not the origin, just gave her a new name.
Yeah, they just gave she's gone through several names. Like she's been Photon, she's been Spectrum, but her original when she first became a superhero and there was no Captain Marvel in Marvel Comics, she took on the mantle of Captain Marvel, and so but then when another character became Captain Marvel, she changed her name to Photon. It's all very confusing. But anyways, it's going to be called The Marvels, and I have no idea what this character is going to be called in the movie. Now, also, he's filming Secret Invasion, so I imagine he's filming it at the same time. That's a TV series, so that's going to be interesting. I don't know why that's highlighted too. Well, no, go ahead, read it anyway.
Exactly.
I messed up. My bad.
Anthony Johnson as Tony. He was in Friday, The Players Club, and I got the hookup.
Right. And then there's Brandon Hammond. He played 5-year-old Caine. He was in Soul Food, Space Jam, and Mars Attacks. So a little kid that you saw in the flashback scenes.
He was the son in Space Jam right now. No,
right.
He was either playing.
He was the one playing basketball. The little kid playing basketball.
Okay, yeah, he was a younger version of him then.
Well, he's younger in this movie than he was when he was playing.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he was playing as a younger one.
Right.
Michael Jordan.
Right. He played the young Michael Jordan. So, and then he was basically one of the main characters in Soul Food, which is a lot like, well, Soul Food's not about the gangster life, but it definitely deserves to be on the list. But what you call it? So, yeah, he played the little boy in a lot of these movies, and then he kind of, I guess, stopped acting. So go on.
We have Glenn Plummer. He was Purnell.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Gifted, City of Lies, Imperial Dreams, and South Central.
So you remember Purnell?
No.
So Purnell was in the beginning of the movie at first.
Oh, him.
And he was showing the little kid how to hold
the gun. Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie when he was in jail. So there's also Reginald Ballard. He played Clyde, and he was in Horrible Bosses and Martin.
Condi Alexander. He was playing. My bad.
That's all right.
Karen Lawson. That's who she was playing as. He was in CSI, Miami, Patriot Days, and New Radio.
Right. She's been in a bunch of TV shows and movies. So there's also Sharif. He was played by Harold. Oh, shoot. Did I get this mixed up? Hold on a second. No. Okay. I mixed it up. The actor's name is Harold Lawson, and Harold Lawson played Sharif, and he was in Training Day and Merciful Angels.
Mm-hmm. Then you had Jada Pinkett Smith as Ronnie. She was in The Matrix Reloaded, Ghost Trip, and Scream 2.
And so there were a couple of important actors that I didn't see on the list because I'm scrolling through and I'm trying to, and I imagine that the first 10 or 15 are, well, how many I got here? 10. So the first 10, 12 actors, those are the main characters. But then they skipped over some of the most important actors. So they skipped over Charles S. Dutton, and he played, let me see if I can see his name up here. He played Sharif's father. That was the dude that kind of came out on the Cookout. And then he also trying to talk some sense in the Caine when he was in the classroom because apparently he's a teacher.
I don't know why you didn't, it's just, instead of going by what the list is, just make sure you get the important ones down next time instead of going what the list gives you. I think that would be better for you to do.
It's because the list is usually right, but it wasn't right this time.
No, remember with the Suicide Squad one? Yeah, we had to look through that to make sure because they didn't list everyone down in order.
Right,
as you think. Right. No, they didn't.
So what was the? Well, I think that was on purpose because they're not trying to spoil the movie. So
I don't hear that. No, excuses.
but in this case, yeah, they kind of skipped over Charles S. Dutton, and then there was another one I can't remember because I got
something like the grandparents.
Not necessarily the grandparents. Even they were sort of important, but I guess I could have. They're not that important. Now I'm trying to think. I can't remember, but there was another actor that was kind of important that should be on this list. Anyway, we'll probably think of it later on. Who is this directed by?
Directed by Albert Hughes and Alan Hughes, the Hughes brothers. They did Dead President, Menace to Society, From Hell, and The Book of Eli.
Yeah, so wow, that's they did some great films. Yeah, Dead President is another one of those gangster flicks. But also From Hell, which is way different from what they started off doing, because like when they started, they was doing a lot of urban dramas like this movie, Dead Presidents, and then move over to From Hell. Do you know about From Hell?
No.
From Hell is a drama that stars, who was that dude that was on Edward Scissorhands? Johnny Depp. And it's basically based on a comic, I want to say by Ellis, I don't know. It was based on a very popular comic at the time. And it's about, I don't know. It's about Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. Somebody famous. And they're going to solve a crime, but he's also a drug addict. So, and then they also did The Book of Eli. Do you remember that movie?
I remember it.
Man, that's one of my favorite movies.
So From Hell, I guess, takes place in London.
Yeah. It was looking for Jack the Ripper. Yeah, right. So, do you see who it was written by? Is it Ellis?
I'm looking. I'm talking about who. I see
the comic was written by. Or are you looking at the movie? Or it's gonna take you a while to find out.
Alan Moore.
Yeah, Alan Moore. He's one of the great comic book writers of our time. He's also kind of ornery. So this movie was written by the Hughes brothers and Tiger Williams. Tiger Williams basically did the screenplay. So once again, the Hughes brothers. So they write and direct like a lot of the early films. So they wrote Dead Presidents and Menace to Society. And Tiger Williams, he wrote The Perfect Guy, and he's one of the writers for Snowfall. Snowfall is a very is basically I think it's HBO, is on HBO, one of those channels, but it's a very popular show that I've heard about but never watched. So that's about the I think the start or upcoming or the origins of the cocaine crack epidemic, I guess. I don't know, but I heard it's good. So who's next?
This is music by Quincy Jones.
Yeah. I don't know why. It's supposed to say Quincy Jones III, but nobody says that.
Quincy Jones III?
Yeah, but nobody says that. They just call him Quincy Jones, one of the greatest musicians of our time. He's basically responsible for the Motown sound, brought up a lot of upcoming singers. But the soundtrack itself wasn't all that impactful for me because I looked at the list of the singers in the soundtrack because he undoubtedly put that together, and I was like, I'm not feeling any of these songs or these musicians. So I mean, well, I like the musicians, I just wasn't feeling a lot of the music that was on the soundtrack. But he's responsible for that. The era of music I was growing up, he was responsible for a lot of that. So the executive producer was Kevin Morton.
Anything you want to say about him or none?
Nope.
All right,
I'm good.
And that's it for the rundown. If you're enjoying the show, remember that you can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, face masks, jerseys, and more at our website, backlookcinema.com, where you can click the link to either teesprings.com or teepublic.com. Now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk about our favorite parts of the movie, some movie trivia, and find out what some of the critics thought.
This is a public service announcement from the LAPD. Be on the lookout for a murder suspect, Mr. Kevin Anderson, also known as O-Dog. Mr. Anderson is 15 years old, black, 5 foot 6 inches tall, muscular with a light build. Mr. Anderson was last seen wearing his hairstyle as box braids. Mr. Anderson is wanted for questioning in the heinous murder of Toshi Toda and his wife Jun Kyoto Lu at their Watts convenience store earlier this summer. If you see a young man matching this description, contact the police. Do not approach. Mr. Anderson may try to offer you a hamburger that he got off a crackhead. If anyone approaches you offering you a hamburger that they got off a crackhead, then that's probably Mr. Anderson, also known as O-Dog. Run away. Run far away. He's armed and highly dangerous.
We're back. Once again, thanks for joining us. You can keep up with us by following us on our socials, on Instagram and Facebook at Backlook Cinema Podcast, and on Twitter at Backlook Cinema. We encourage you to leave feedbacks, comments, suggestions, etc., or you can email us at fanmail@backlookcinema.com. So, Zachmo, as your grandmother calls you, what's some of your favorite parts? Favorite parts. That's what we're doing. Favorite parts. I was tripping.
I know.
That's tripping.
The beginning part of the movie was good.
Yeah, that is the most impactful part of the entire film. Film starts off with a bang. It's
O-Dog
shocking.
And Caine going to a liquor store. Is that a liquor store? Convenience store, basically.
Yeah, it's a convenience store.
And because of how the time it was back then, where
even now. In certain places. Well, you're not going to see it here, but even now in certain places. But go on.
Where basically they going to get a drink, and you have one of the owners of the store basically following them just to make sure they don't steal anything. Right. And now because of his O-Dog being himself, he's telling her to bug off and leave them alone because they're not going to steal anything and they'll pay. And then because it's O-Dog, I believe he was the first one to take a drink. No, it might have been Caine. Yeah, Caine.
It's Caine.
Caine goes ahead and opens the drink and start drinking it. And then, the male owner gets, just wants them to hurry and get out. Just hurry and pay and get out. They go pay. And then the male owner just goes, I feel sorry for your mother. And that's basically O-Dog's trigger. To which he gets mad, goes up. And the owner just really wants them to get out even more now because he does not want any trouble. But because it's O-Dog, he does not care. And he goes ahead and shoots the owner in the head. Then he, lays a little more bullets into the body that's already dead. Goes to the woman, forces her to get the tape, and then shoots to kill her because can't have any witnesses.
Right. And so they make off with the security videotape.
Yeah, the security tape. That they and some
the store.
Money, but it wasn't that much money.
Well, no, it wasn't a lot of money in the drawer, but the owner hid.
But the owner had I guess enough money in his socks.
Right, he hid all the real cash in his socks and in his I think it's in his shoe or something.
Yeah, it was in his socks and pockets. And I was like, okay, that was a good one. Trying to figure out what was another good scene. I guess when they go to it's Caine and his cousin meeting up some friends at a party, and it's after the party they go, and even before that, O-Dog is basically showing off the tape, and Caine is like, "Why are you doing that?
Right,
that is the most dumbest thing you can do. We have the tape, just destroy it, and we're safe."
Right.
But O-Dog doesn't care because he thinks he's safe and no one will snitch.
Right.
So they leave. They leave the party. O-Dog and some other people stop at a gas station while Caine and his cousin are in the car at a stoplight. Now while they're at a stoplight, another car pulls up and basically was gonna jack them, but it wasn't gonna be a clean jack. No. They decided to go ahead, pull the guns out, kill the cousin, shot in the head, and shot Caine in the shoulder. I believe the left shoulder blade. The other guys, the other group hears it. They go and see. I forgot who was the one that didn't want to leave it was one of the characters that didn't want to leave the cousin. Yeah, Sharif didn't want to leave the cousin behind.
Right.
Even though Odo was like, he's already dead because he got shot in the head.
Right. So, what you call it? So. Yeah, so they was in two separate cars.
Yeah, two separate cars.
The Caine and his cousin were in one car, and they pulled up, and then another car, and I think Caine had a Mercedes Benz. Another car pulled up to jack him up, and there was a bunch of dudes in that other car, and they all pulled out their guns, and Caine's cousin, he was trying to tell Caine to get out the car, and then he's slowly trying to pull out his little pistol when everybody else got all of their guns pointing at him already. So why are you trying? He didn't want to give up without a fight, which is what he should have done. And so because he was basically outgunned. He didn't move fast enough, and that's why they shot him, because he wasn't moving fast enough, and so they suspected something was up. So they started blasting him, and so even though Caine had started to get out the car, he had got blasted with straight bullets because they weren't aiming at him, and Caine's cousin had the most of it. I killed it because it was like a fruit fly or something crawling up my computer. So what you call it? So then the second car pulls up with Caine's friends. And there's Old Dog and Sharif and all them. There's like 5 dudes in the car. So they put Caine in the car, and they was going to drive him to the hospital because, there are no cell phones back then, or not any that anybody really had access to. And then and Sharif, he stayed behind and basically stayed with Caine's cousin till Caine's cousin died. So yeah, that was also like a hard knock life right there. That was just messed up. So go ahead.
Then you have the part where Caine, Old Dog, and I forgot the other guy's name, who was basically the older person in the group, decide to get revenge for Caine's cousin. And they only find 2 of the members anyway. They didn't find the other. I think there's like 2 other ones.
Yeah.
They didn't find the other 2. They got the main 2, I guess.
I'm going to try to find the name of the other dude. You said the older dude.
Yeah.
So his name is... hold on. The grocery store, Tat, Tony, Purnell, Clyde. I didn't get his name. I think
that's what I said.
Yeah, I didn't get his name, and yeah, so that was another actor that I should have got down.
Exactly. And then they go, and even before that, there's a scene where they're all hanging out, and I don't know what the other guy's name is, but he comes out, gives Old Dog, I believe, a shotgun.
Yeah. One of the characters come out and give him a shotgun.
Give him a shotgun. So they go out, and the plan is that Caine and Old Dog will go around, because they find the other 2 at this drive-in fast food place. I don't know.
Old Dog already knew where they like to hang out.
Yeah.
So he knew where they like to hang out. He knew what time they like to hang out. So it's basically it's that Chinese place across the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's called, what's that called? It's not a takeout. Is it? So that's an outdoor takeout place. So they're out there trying to mac on this girl, and
basically trying to get free food. So Old Dog Caine they park behind,
right?
And they go around the other side where the blind spot is at, where they don't see them. And the 2 turn around. Old Dog and Caine shoots them. One of them looks like he was about to get away, but that's when the other guy comes out saying, "Oh, do you need help?" and shoot him point blank in the chest,
right?
Finishing him off, and then they drive off.
Right. Perfectly executed murder. It's like my feelings is that I hate these dudes. There are no good guys here. I hate all these dudes, but at the same time, I'm glad that they got revenge. Right? I have complex feelings. I also like the part where when they got Caine into the hospital after he got shot in his shoulder, and took Caine to the hospital. They basically carried him in. He up there choking and coughing up blood, which is weird for him to cough up blood if he didn't get hit in the body.
He got shot in the shoulder.
Right. So why is he coughing up blood? That was kind of dumb. Anyways. He gets they bring him in and they just like, we need you to fill out form. Man, we can't be filling out forms. He bleeding to death.
Let's see. Another good scene is when they are given the task to hijack a car and make sure they don't damage it. And it's Old Dog, Caine, and again, the older guy. They go in to this parking garage. Security's looking at him because he's like, okay, I already know they're suspicious because it's weird for a car to come in and not check in or whatever.
Well, it came in with 4 people and then left with just 2 people. So that's also...
Well, no, it was only 3 of them. It was
only 3 of them. So it came in with 3 people and left with 1 person.
But they ducked so they weren't seen.
Right.
But again, the guy already found that suspicious when a car came in and not checked in.
Right.
Whatever. Caine and Old Dog are going ahead, jacking the car. They get in, they drive out. But before they can fully get out, 3 cop cars are already there. So they decided to run down deep inside the garage, go down like below.
They was trying to hide.
They was trying to hide,
right.
even though that was going to be pointless regardless.
Well, the police brought dogs. It probably would have worked had the police not brought their dogs.
Maybe. The police brought a dog. The dogs. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure the dog's supposed to sniff something first.
No. Well, if the dog is just looking for a person, then it doesn't matter.
I guess.
Yeah. If the dog was looking for a particular person, then you would need to sniff. The dog would need to sniff something so that they can find a person. But if the dog is just looking for a person, like anybody, then they can just let the dog loose. The only problem I would see with that is that because the dog is not looking for a particular person, he's just looking for a person. It could have been just like innocent person.
Oh yeah, it could have been someone down there, or it could have went the other way, whatever.
Right. It could have been like an innocent person going down there, just parking their car. Next thing you know, the dog is attacking them, and they ain't had nothing to do with it. So that's kind of messed up. It seems to me irresponsible.
Yeah,
right?
they get caught, but because O-Dog is underage, which makes me question the first scene on why he's drinking anyway. Then, and I'm like, it doesn't even matter.
Well, a lot of them underage kids be drinking.
I mean, Caine was like 18, and I was like, I guess okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, in order for Caine would have to be 18, but in order for Tate to be a minor, he would have to be 15, which is weird because he looks way older than 15.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, O-Dog gets basically, it's like, okay, here's a warning, blah, blah, blah. Caine gets like, I guess, a week or so in prison, whatever.
He gets like a week in jail. Then they find out
that because they took his fingerprints, they found out that it matched the same ones at the same convenience store where he had bought his beer, and his friend O-Dog killed the two owners.
Right. Oh, and that they had the interrogation scene. So that was
did not put down, and I noticed.
Right. That was Bill Dukes. You remember Bill Dukes?
Yeah, he was Mac in Predator.
Right. I forgot he was in this movie. That was he kept basically
he's interrogating Caine, and he's telling Caine basically like, okay, so you bought the beer at 11. Caine's like, yeah, I bought the beer at 11, and then it's like he changes it so he can catch him slipping, which he does.
Right. It's like, oh, so you bought the beer at 12? It's like, yeah, I bought the beer at 12.
And he's like, see, that's where you fucked up.
Right. You know you fucked up, didn't you? You know you fucked up, didn't you? But they didn't have anything on him, so they had to. And
the reason why they couldn't have anything on him other than the blue fingerprints is because they don't have the tape.
Right.
Without the tape there, they can't say for sure if he was a part of it or if he had any acknowledgments of it.
Right.
And the only thing he could use as a story is like, yeah, I was there, we left, I left, 2 other people came in, and that's it because I dropped my beer.
Right.
And again, the only thing was like, okay, so you dropped your beer, but no one cleaned it up? That's kind of weird.
Right. Yeah, but he didn't really have anything because they really couldn't even say, like, Caine's mistake is that he could have just not said anything. Right, because he has the right not to speak. The first thing the police tell you is that you have the right to remain silent. So
I'm gonna get to that part later too.
Right. All right, go ahead.
What else was a good scene after? O-Dog is still basically showing his tape to people and thinking about selling it too.
Right.
$59.99. I'm like, why are you thinking about selling the tape? Do you not think I can tell you not even a high school dropout. You're a middle school dropout. I can definitely tell. Right. There's no way someone was going to think, hey, let me go ahead and sell this tape while I rob the place. That's the brightest thing I could do. No one's going to ever just basically give the tape away to get me arrested. There's no way.
Right. No way that one of these people are going to get in trouble with I don't know, cocaine or whatever, and the house is raided by police and they find the tape. No way that's ever going to happen.
Let's see. We get the scene where Caine and I can't remember what was the female name. Was it? No, it wasn't Karen.
Caine and his girlfriend, or the one he wants to be his girlfriend.
That's what I'm trying to remember.
Ronnie,
yeah, her. Basically,
that was Jada Pinkett. Did you recognize her?
Not really, because he looks younger in that one.
Oh, she was a baby in that movie. She was younger in that movie than she was in Set It Off.
And with this is basically that Ronnie, and she's trying to convince Caine that he needs to change.
You keep saying Caine. His name is Caine.
Oh, Caine.
Which is an unusual name, especially, well, actually, his mother and father were crackheads, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like, so Ronnie's trying to convince Caine that he needs to change because he's not doing anything, and she's basically trying to. I'm trying. What was the scene where he's basically in the room with her son? They're playing a game at first. I don't even know what game they're playing, but apparently, I guess
it's supposed to be some kind of fighting game.
I guess it's on a PlayStation 1. I guess
no, that's a Genesis. That was a
Genesis.
Genesis.
Was a Genesis.
Controller.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So they're playing a game, some type of fighting game. And because Caine is losing a little bit, he decides to take the gun out of his pocket and put it on the shelf.
Well, it was in his waist.
Yeah, in his waist,
and it
put
was
it
uncomfortable. So he took it out.
Took it out, put it on the shelf, and then that's when the little kid's like, "Hey, what's that? I want to see it." And I'm like, "Are we gonna repeat what happened in the first part?"
Right. And that's basically this movie is about parallels. Like you see the same thing happen, and I think the message that he's trying to send is out a lot of. You see a lot of repeating patterns. A lot of the same things happen over and over again. And that's why the cycle of violence continues to repeat in some of these neighborhoods, because people grow up in these situations and this is all they know. And they just basically start teaching the younger generation the exact same thing that they learn
on today.
Right. Still going on today.
And, she gets mad because she sees her son holding a gun, even though it's not loaded like Caine says. She doesn't care. She wants him to stop leaving money. And she basically, he doesn't. She doesn't have him to leave. He's getting a pager, and so he leaves on his own.
Right. Because he a drug dealer, so he got paged. So now he gotta bounce.
Another good one. O-Dog shooting a basehead because the basehead wanted some drugs, and he didn't have the money, but all he had was a burger.
Right. And the other thing is that that's another impactful. That's the thing that almost everybody remembers about this movie. They remember that very first scene, and they remember this scene where he's talking about, I suck your dick. And he's like, man, what you say to me? What you say to me? Cow. Then talking about, anybody want a cheeseburger? It's like, no, nobody want a cheeseburger from somebody you just killed.
And of course they don't want it because it's like they already know, like everyone in the friends group know O-Dog ain't riding their head at all.
Right.
So they basically try to do their best not to trigger him.
Right. Yeah, I think that's true.
Let's see. What's another good one? Okay, so when that girl that Caine hooked up, cousin, there's a female that he hooks up with. He gets the number, and this is like. When he's going to a barbecue party, he gets the number from this girl. He hangs out her one night, has sex with her. He said he used protection. Next thing you know, he gets a call from her saying, and then she tells him that that she's pregnant. He doesn't believe her, hangs up, and so she has her cousin go to him to basically, I don't know, to talk or whatever. But
that's supposed to be to talk to get him to take responsibility.
But that ain't gonna happen. And so Caine punches him, beats him up. That's when Caine's grandfather come out, tell him to come inside, and then O-Dog gets a little kick in because, it's O-Dog.
Right. Yeah, he always liked to kick people after they get shot or beat up.
That was a good scene. I believe this is when Caine was also getting kicked out of the house from his grandparents' house.
Yeah. So,
and at that moment, Caine had already decided that he was going to move with Ronnie to Atlanta, Georgia, because he had a talk with two other people, and that was Ronnie and
well, at the time he was talking with what you call it? I didn't forgot.
It was right.
Sharif.
Sharif's
father.
Sharif's father was like, Sharif told me that him and this other guy had a talk where they are going to move to Kansas. And it's like, well, you're not doing anything. And it's like, come on, it's better to actually move out of here because you're not doing anything. And if you're going to stay here, all you can do is survive.
Right.
That's basically all you can do. Survive from basically the ghetto and the police themselves.
Yeah, the most impactful thing he told him was that
to survive.
The hunt is on and you're the prey. That was Charles S. Dutton. He was doing his acting thing right there. He was doing his acting thing.
And then Ronnie also gave him to talk about how she got a job and is in Atlanta. And she wanted him to move with them because, again, he's not doing anything. And they had this talk for, like, I believe 2 times. First time was in the house. Second time was at the hospital. And, again, trying to convince him. And he is convinced to move, which is when we get to the grandparents scene of him getting kicked out. He tells him, can I just stay for a little longer? Because in like a few days, I'm gonna be moving to Atlanta with Ronnie, and they don't care. They want him out because
it's not that they don't care. They raised him since he was a child.
Yeah, they raised him.
It's just that he's basic, and he's already bad, right?
Yeah,
he's been bad the entire time. So that fight outside of his house, that was basically the last straw, and it was like, no, you got to go now, right? Because it's like we done put up with you your entire life. You got to go now because he's a grown man at this point. He's graduated high school, and he just can't continue to stay there. It's like, can I stay for 2 more weeks? No. This is that hard love.
Then we have the scene where him and Sharif are actually, before that, when he does get his car, he's talking about getting some rims. And instead of paying for it, he decides to jack some for some rims, where this guy has some gold rims. He drove up to this fast food place. Caine follows him behind, park his car, get out of his car. And then I don't know why his car is unlocked. That's another thing. Why is your car unlocked?
Right. It wouldn't have mattered because dude had a gun.
Yeah, that's true. Caine gets inside, basically tells him that he wants all his things because that's what he's taking: the radio, he's taking the rims, he's taking his gold chains, and he also wanted a double cheeseburger.
Right.
And the guy orders like,
they was at a drive-through.
And he was like, yeah, can I get a cheeseburger? And he was like, can I get a double burger?
Hamburger.
Double hamburger. He's like, I said I want a double hamburger with cheese. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, can I get a double hamburger with cheese? And he's like, see that? You about to get yourself killed over this.
Right.
I'm like, you're really gonna kill him over a double hamburger with cheese? Okay then. I understand the rims and all, I guess, but okay then.
So, and now jacking somebody for the rims is mad complicated. You basically have to jack the whole car
just to get the rims.
Right, and that's basically what he did. So yeah, and that's basically shown how deep he was into this criminal lifestyle. And the dude that he was jacking was a criminal himself. So as far as he was concerned, all fair is fair. He's surprised that dude didn't send his crew to come over. It's like he just making enemies everywhere. Like if it wasn't the girl that he may or may not have impregnated, sending her cousin, then it would have been this dude sending his crew, right? So
maybe, who knows?
You're right. It's just a huge. It's not even a cycle of violence. It's a kaleidoscope of violence that continuously continues unabated. So. You got anything else?
Sharif and Caine driving in the car, and they get pulled over by the cops, and the cops don't even give them, say that their rights to just get beat up and dropped off in a different neighborhood.
Right.
Luckily, in that neighborhood, the Mexican gang are nice.
Well, it's not that they were nice. It's just that they were. They knew that the dudes.
They just got dropped off.
They just got dropped
beat
off
up by cops.
They were beat up, so probably didn't even know they would beat up by cops. But they knew that those kids weren't trying to cause any trouble.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if you see somebody creeping around your neighborhood, you think they're causing trouble. You see somebody and they beat within an inch of their life and they just lying on the ground, probably not there to cause trouble, and took them to the hospital. And and here's the thing about it: people have been saying this about police for years and years, and nobody believed us. Like, I didn't believe people when they told me that, oh yeah, the police be going around beating up people. And I'm like, nah, man, they don't be beating up people. But like, what happened in this film is a type of stuff that not only has happened, but continues to happen to this day. So, but now with the age of like phone video and video, everybody having video
trying
cameras.
To be secretive.
Right, they're trying to be more secretive.
Brutality, but it's not working because they also got body cameras on them, so it's even harder for them.
Right, it's harder for them because they got body cameras, and they have to turn on their body cameras because it's not yet criminal for them not to turn on their body cameras, but it should be.
They do get in trouble if they turn it off or they don't have it on. They get heavily in trouble for that.
Right. They get in trouble, but they don't get like fired. It's like the consequences are never severe enough. But yeah, so this is the type of, and in Los Angeles, especially, the police just act like another gang. So that's what they saw some black kids driving in a nice car. So they decided, well, these are some people that we can abuse and we're not going to get in trouble for it. So that's all that was about. So yeah, that was also an impactful moment.
The last scene is when Ronnie, Caine, O-Dog, and a bunch of other people are basically helping Ronnie move her stuff out of the house into a van. And as they're doing that, the cousin from before that got beat up is deciding to get revenge to go shoot Caine because he did not like how he got beaten up. So he goes with some people. His cousin also tries to stop him, telling him that he doesn't have to do this But he's like, no, I have to, whatever. And I'm like, okay. Even though you don't have to, nothing was hurt. All you did was get beat up. That's all. I don't see how getting beat up equals to.
Well, it's more than just getting beat up. First, he was disrespected. Then he was embarrassed. So he was disrespected and embarrassed. And now this dude that he thinks impregnated his cousin is not going to live up to his responsibility. So he has to save face. So the only way he feel like he can save face is to kill him and all of his friends.
I guess. And actually, you know what? Before that, I'm also get to the scene where there's a party with them, with Ronnie at their house. They're having a party.
They're having a going away party.
They're going away party
right.
for Ronnie and Caine.
Right.
And you know, Caine and Ronnie do have sex at that party, but then
because that's when Caine finally decides that he's going to move with Ronnie to Atlanta.
Then there's a guy who's been, I guess, harassing Ronnie. And Caine didn't like that. And Caine asked O-Dog for his gun. And instead of shooting the guy, he just pistol whips him a couple of times.
Right.
And that guy didn't like getting pistol whipped. And his friend is taunting him, saying like, "Oh
right,
yeah,
this is later. This is way later. That's like a day later.
Day later.
And the dude watching the boxing match.
Like, yeah, just like this, man. It's like this is the same with you and Caine. When Caine is just whooping you, man. And I'm like, why are you taunting him?
Right.
And then he's getting more annoyed and pissed off. To the point where he's like, he's gonna take the tape that Caine has been selling like a dumbass. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sell it for the take. And he's like, I'm gonna give this to the cops.
Right. So, but see, nothing comes of that really.
Yeah, nothing. I guess because I think they did show a clip of Caine, O-Dog getting arrested.
No.
I could have sworn he did.
No.
Okay.
No, they didn't really do anything with that because it's like if he got arrested, he wouldn't have been out of jail like for the final scene. So
but either way, it feels like they should have had that where. I mean, like after Caine got shot, they should have had that. Where
I think I understand why they ended it right there. I think they ended it right there because you know Tate is going to go to jail because the theme of the movie is that you stay in that hood life, you're either going to go to jail or you're going to get killed.
Yeah, but I believe O-Dog was probably going to go and get revenge first, and then he was going to end up getting arrested later on.
Right.
That's what I feel like how it should have ended, really.
Right.
O-Dog goes to get revenge because they shot Caine and Sharif.
Yeah,
they shot
Caine and Sharif, and then the other dude, I think his name is Keith. He ran up and I think he was either in the house or he ran in the house, so he survived. He helped protect
Ronnie. Because what happened was,
and then what's his name?
I remember what happened. They're outside. They're packing stuff up. The guy comes up. I forgot the other guy's name. Is in the house with
I think it's
Ronnie.
Keith.
Yeah, Keith is in the house with Ronnie. Keith. Keith is in the house with Ronnie, basically making sure to get everything else out. The little kid is outside on his new big wheel because that's what Caine bought him.
Right.
Even though Caine was like, "You still keep bumping into me after I bought you this new big wheel."
Right.
And that's when the car pulls up. They all have ski masks on except for the cousin. They come in with Uzis and like pistols too. Sharif gets shot first, and then Caine starts to run, but he gets shot. Then he turns around to protect the little kid from getting shot. And this also goes back to an earlier scene where Caine is like, I'm not going to go up and shoot a little bunch of kids and old people.
Right.
Because I don't want to do that.
Right.
And again, because it's O-Dog, he does not care.
Right.
O-Dog kicks out his pistol, starts shooting back. O-Dog does not get shot somehow.
Right.
And, but Caine is full of bullets. Sharif is dead. And that's how they basically end the movie, where Caine dies because he was in the hood for too long, living that gangster life for too much. O-Dog basically he probably gets his revenge and thrown in jail after that because the cops find out. The little kid and Ronnie goes ahead and move down to Atlanta after what happened.
Right.
Keith moves without Sharif.
Keith moved. He goes without
Sharif to Kansas. So does the father. He also goes to Kansas.
Keith got. Well, I don't know if the father moves to Kansas, but Keith.
No, I believe maybe. I think the father probably thought about it too.
No, I think because he
probably stayed in.
Yeah, he probably stayed. But Keith has he got a football scholarship, so that's why he goes. So, and here's the thing. There's also an impactful scene where Caine is talking to Purnell.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And that
Caine
they was in jail.
Pharrell.
And
Pharrell's like, "Hey, I already know." because I know she loves you. I know you love her too. Take care of her and my son, but also teach what I taught you to my son. I'm like,
no, he said, don't teach.
Oh yeah, don't teach.
Don't teach my son,
because he doesn't want his son to land in jail or be dead on the street.
Right, and I think that's what convinced him.
Yeah, also
to
convinced
cement
him
his decision to go to Atlanta, because it's like, this is the guy he looked up to. This is like the hardest dude doing the life sentence. The hardest dude he knows, somebody who was like a father to him. And it's basically like his father telling him, go ahead and get out of this life and move to Atlanta. And that's how he made his decision.
And it also goes back to an earlier scene where as Caine as a kid held a gun at an early age and drunk liquor at an early age.
Right.
But then when it comes to the newer kid, he makes the first mistake of letting him hold the gun, but he fixed the mistakes on making sure he doesn't drink liquor at an early age.
Right. So
because he wants to fix that. He doesn't want that little kid to go down that road again.
This is where
the same road that he went down, or Pharrell went down.
This is where you see Caine trying to break the cycle that they're in. So there was something I was trying to look up, but I forgot. So one of the things I kind of wanted to point out that a lot of this, well, I only want to say that one of the main points of this movie that is being narrated. So one of the shocker is that, because it's the film is being narrated by the main character, you expect the main character to live, and he doesn't. So I was like, whoa, that's a shocker. This is a tragedy, and you don't see many tragedies in modern cinema, in modern storytelling. You don't see many. You expect the hero to win. It's very rare. So when you see it, it's shocking.
Actually, since he died, you expect someone else to be telling his story, not
himself.
Right.
That's
another thing.
Right.
So maybe he did survive. Maybe, who knows?
No, I think they
even though he claims that he claimed himself that it was already it was over for him.
Right.
But it's just kind of weird, and it feels like he did survive. He just ended up going to jail.
Well, it happens sometimes. It's not common. But there are a few stories where it's told by the dead person's point of view. Like, you find out at the end that person who's telling the story is dead. So I think this is one of those movies. But the only thing I would say is that so the main character, Caine, played by Tyron Turner, not a great leading man, not a great actor at this point. He's probably better now, but it's like I never really felt like he was I don't know, his acting just wasn't there yet. A lot of the other actors were a little bit better, but as far as he himself, as for carrying a movie, did not do great job. It's like I'm famous for saying that I can't really tell when somebody is not a good actor, but in this case, it's like I'm cringing at this point, cringing at his acting. But everything else is pretty good. I would say his acting is probably the weakest part of this movie. So that's it for our favorite parts. What'd you think of this movie?
It was good.
See, I knew you would like it. Here's the thing. I didn't know if I was going to like it because I only seen it one time. It was on a grainy copy of somebody who shot the movie in a movie theater or video cassette. So, and to me, like when you're just playing a bunch of dudes that are basically just shooting each other, it's offensive to me. But upon watching it this time, I understand the story that it was trying to tell. So I wanted to show you this movie, not because I liked it, but because I know that it's an important story to tell, especially about how things were back then and how things continue to be in some aspects today. So it's just one of the most important films in our history, and we needed to watch it. So I'm glad you was able to see it. You liked it, so that's also good. You got that. Don't have to watch it again now. You've done it. You can tell people that you've seen Menace II Society, and people will give you daps for it. So let's move on to the trivia. And I will start off. Tupac Shakur was originally cast to play Sharif, but was fired, which led to a physical fight with co-director Alan Hughes. Shakur was charged with assault and battery. Shakur bragged about the altercation on an appearance on Yo MTV Raps 1988. A tape of the appearance was played at the trial as evidence against Shakur. Shakur was sentenced to 15 days in jail. Wow, that sounds like a lot will happen in the movie.
That just sounds like ignorance. Why would you brag about it? Just come on.
Well, it was already on tape, so it didn't matter. He's bragging about it because he wanted to show how hard he is. See how hard I am? This is probably after he already spent his 15 days in jail. I'm just saying the exact same thing happened in the movie. So it's like life imitating art, imitating life all over again.
Production was shut down for 2 days when members of the Hacienda Village Bloods (HVB) shot up the set in Jordan Downs, a housing project area and a place considered Crip territory.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, that's hard. A few scenes ended up being deleted from the final film. A prison riot scene was cut due to it being deemed too intense and would have bumped it to an N-17. Another reason is because it was complicated for the Hughes brothers since they didn't know how to film and choreograph an action sequence yet. So it was like beyond their purview, and they wisely cut it from the film.
All right. New Line Cinemas mandated that the Platinum rapper be cast in the film, and so MC 8 was cast as AWACS.
AWACS was the older character.
Yeah.
That you kept referring to. So AWAC was the dude that was in the car when they went and killed those other dudes at the dine-in the dine-out.
And also went to hijack a car.
Right. To hijack the car. So that was AWACS. So the character played by MC8, the rapper. I think it's in the trivia. So when we get to it, we'll read it. So according to screenwriter Tiger Williams, the character O-Dog is supposed to be only 15 years old, and his friends were all 17 and 18 years old. That didn't work out. That he did not look or feel 15 years old. The dude felt fully like he was at least 19. He should have cast a younger dude.
Director Alan Hughes says that the movie that was made wasn't really the movie he wanted to make. It was 80% there, but the Hughes brothers didn't think that it was hard or edgy enough. They knew they had something when editing was done, but it wasn't what they had hoped for. They blamed themselves and also not having enough time to do certain things.
How much harder did it need to be? I guess they wanted a Mortal Kombat hard. I guess. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure they wanted some tough life hard.
Yeah. I guess they wanted that prison scene, but they didn't know how to film it. So Clifton Powell, MC8, and Samuel L. Jackson have later voiced major antagonists in the 2004 popular video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which Menace II Society served as one of its main inspirations.
That's interesting.
Right.
MC8 ad-libbed most of his lines to authenticate the portrayal of gang life in the film.
That's the trivia that I meant to point out. So MC8, he ad-libbed his lines. He didn't even have to read a script. So all the things that he said, that was just him. So Tiger Williams wrote the script in 28 days and over 6 weeks. He and the Hughes brothers developed the story together. So that's it for the trivia. Let's head over to see what the critics think. So the critics gave it 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience gave it a 93%. And IMDb reviews gave it a 7.8 out of 10.
We have Chris Hicks from Desert News. Desert News. Unlike Boys in the Hood and Juice, however, this one is so downbeat and depressing, there seems to be little hope for anyone who comes out of these neighborhoods.
I think the point of the movie is that a lot of times people don't get out. And yeah, it's supposed to be depressing because that's how it is. This dude does not realize this is real life. And he's trying to say that everything has to have a happy ending. You know what, Chris Hicks? It don't always end up happy, right? Sometimes it's a tragedy. This is real life. Maybe you should go to the hood, see how people live at. You know what? You just like the white dude that was trying to get the black dude steal his car. You that dude, right? You don't understand. It's hard out here in these streets. Okay, all right. I'm pontificating. So James Baradellini. Hold on. Let me see if I can try that again. Nope, I'm not going to. He's from Real Views. It won't be a fun time, at least not in the conventional sense, but you'll sit through a 97-minute odyssey that won't be quickly forgotten. And I believe that's true. It's not a fun time a lot of times. Like I said, they're all bad guys here. They're all, except for Jada Pinkett, they're all bad guys. And she's suspect because she's cavorting with bad guys. Really, it's just Ronnie, played by Jada Pinkett, there's the Charles S. Dutton character, and then they're the what's his name's grandparents, Caine's grandparents, and the Korean store owners. That's about it. Those are the only good people in this film, right?
Oh, Sharif's father. I don't know how you're forgetting about him.
Yeah, Charles S. Dutton played Sharif's father, and Sharif, really.
Yeah, Sharif, because he wasn't the one smoking.
Right, he didn't
drinking.
smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't gangbang. He was actually there trying to get his friends to stop. He's the ultimate good guy here. He's a tragic figure because he died in the film, but he's the ultimate good guy. It's like,
because you also remember he changed. He went to being Muslim.
Right.
Because if I was like, even if like, as long as this Allah guy changes my son, I'm all for it.
Right.
I don't care as long as it makes him good.
Right. Because Sharif used to get in a lot of trouble, and he changed his life around. So so Sharif is what Caine is trying to pivot to. He's trying to pivot to where Sharif is, even though he doesn't realize it yet. So, and this way, it's like in moving to Atlanta, getting out of South Central and being at Ronnie, that sort of thing that would pivot him away from the life that he's on right now. But it didn't work out. So and what was the other character? I guess Keith, the football player, because he smoked and he drank and whatnot, but he really wasn't about that gang life.
Like, let's move out. Me and Sharif are moving to Kansas.
Right.
Come too.
Right. So he's not really a gang.
Because he's like, what are you doing? You ain't doing nothing around here.
Right.
Nothing.
Right. So he just hang out with him, but he's not the gangbanger. So but pretty much everybody else, they're all bad. They're all bad seeds, and I can't identify with them. I can't even really sympathize with them. All I can do is see what they do, but I can't really connect with them on any level, really. So we also have Stephen Holden from the New York Times. If Menace II Society is terrific on ambiance, it's considerably less successful in revealing character. And I think this dude does not know how to watch movies, because there was all great characters. These are just people that he doesn't recognize. These aren't characters that he recognizes. That's what it is. Because I think all of the characters were well developed. If you didn't know that O-Dog was crazy, or that Caine was lost and confused, or that his grandparents was crazy religious, or Sharif was a Muslim, if you didn't get all of that.
To be honest, you can already tell O-Dog is a crazy person.
Right, but
from
that's
that first scene, it's already established. This man is crazy, and he has a trigger.
Right. So the character is built in this film, so I don't know what this Stefan dude is talking about. Who the last one?
Roger Ebert.
Our frenemy, Roger Ebert. We haven't read from him for a while.
Your frenemy from Chicago Sun-Times. Anyone who views this film thoughtfully must ask why our society makes guns easier to obtain and use than does any other country in civilized world. And that is only the most obvious of many questions the film inspires.
Right.
Yeah, why do we just guns easier to acquire? Come on, in all honesty, only the cops should have the guns.
No, I disagree with that.
I guess, but still,
I don't agree that only the cops should have a gun, but I do
just
agree.
believe that if you're gonna have a gun, it needs to be for good intent and not just for, I'm gonna use it for robbery. If it's for protection, I understand. That's understandable and reasonable. But then when it's like for robbery or whatever else, that's just that's not even reasonable.
Right. And then it's a complicated question that we're not going to answer on this show. But I do know that they are way too easier to get than they should be. So because there's no screening process. It's like people say, one of the main things that most people agree on is that you should keep guns out of the hands of people who are mentally unstable. And so what other people would say is like, well, who's to decide who a person who is unstable? Like who makes that decision? And that's a dumb question, because when somebody's unstable, when somebody ain't right.
I mean, if they have a trigger like O-Dog, then they're unstable.
When somebody ain't right. You ain't even got to ask that question. You just worried that somebody might identify you as somebody who's unstable, and you probably are. You probably are unstable. You just don't want people to finger you. So anyway, so we're coming to a close in this show. Finally, Menace II Society is of this recording, available on HBO Max. So we're going to be off next week, or I think we will. Probably will. We're going to a family reunion. So there probably won't be a new recording next week. So I invite you to check out our massive film library at our website, or go to your favorite podcast apps. All of our episodes there. This is the 42nd episode. So you got like 41 episodes to check out. They're all great episodes. Just check out your favorite movie and see what we got to say about them. And the next episode, we're going to check out U.S. Marshals. So you can watch that. It's on HBO Max. And then come back in 2 weeks and hear about it from us. We're going to take a break. So one last time, if you like this show, then please help us grow. To do this, you can rate us, or you can write a review on podchaser.com or Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app. And you can also share our show with someone. You can hashtag, or you can @BacklookCinema on your favorite social media sites.
Don't forget, you can contact us at fanmail@backlookcinema.com.
Believe me, it matters. Be safe, hug your loved ones, and be outstanding.